Before we go forward, let me introduce you to the tables we will be using in this module. The departments table having two columns, department ID and department name. And the employee table having employee ID, employee name, employee department ID, employee location, and employee salary column. The employee department ID being a foreign key to the department ID column of the departments table. I like to use prefixes for each of my table columns like EMP for employee and DEPT for department columns. This helps with the readability in the queries. Also, I like to use the source table underscore foreign table underscore FK format for naming my foreign key constraints. For example, EMP underscore DEPT underscore FK, which tells me right away the relationship. Again, the standard naming conventions help readability and maintainability of your code and is a good practice to follow. Implicit cursors are open for you when you issue a select, insert, update, or a delete statement in PL SQL. Oracle opens these cursors for you, fetches the row, and closes it for you automatically. In this code snippet, we issue a select to get the department ID and department name from the departments table, and fetch into L department ID and L department name. Note the select into syntax in PL SQL, which is different from SQL statements. Here, you need to have the same number and type of variables declared to fetch the select columns in the SQL query. For example, here we have L department ID to fetch the department ID and L department name to fetch the department name from the select statement. If the number and type of variables differ from the select columns, Oracle will give you an error for too many values if you have more variables than the select columns, and not enough values if you have more columns selected than the variables to hold them. SQL %found is a built-in implicit cursor attribute which returns true if the select statement fetched a row, or if an update statement updated any rows, or if a delete statement deleted any rows. It returns false otherwise. SQL %not found is just the opposite of SQL %found. SQL %row count gives the number of rows fetched or updated or deleted. For a select query, if you are sure that's going to fetch a row and only one row, then using an implicit select cursor is the most efficient way to go. However, if there are more than one rows fetched or no rows fetched at all, then Oracle raises errors. Sometimes you might want to use them when you actually want an error to be raised for these conditions. It might also help someone reading your code to understand that this select statement is supposed to fetch one row only, and it is an erroneous condition if that is not the case. I wanted to show you an example of how to issue a delete statement in PL SQL, as in this code snippet below, where we delete from the departments table. In the next code snippet, we show how to use an update statement in PL SQL to update department name to marketing for department ID 2. Note that the delete and update statements follow the same syntax we use as when normally writing SQL statements. Implicit cursors are okay to use for updates and deletes in PL SQL, and for selects where you are sure that only one row is going to be fetched. What happens if there is more than one row fetched, as in this code snippet where we have removed the where condition, and now this query will fetch department ID and department name for all the departments. In this case, Oracle will raise an error, exact fetch returns more than requested number of rows, as it cannot use a single variable to hold a collection of values. And if your fetch returns no row, as in this example we are trying to fetch information for department ID 10, which does not exist. In this case, Oracle will raise no data found exception. If you are expecting more than one row, explicit cursors would be the way to go.